Okay, hello again. Our final tour is going to take you to the Career Explorer page, and again we're going to be navigating this pretending that we're Sam's sample. What you see on this page is a few things. So Sam has gone to Career Explorer. What's happened in the background is the system has taken a look at Sam across the 25 traits that we've measured, projected him into a position library of over 1,250 different careers. And in this case, it's serving them up in a filtered way. And it's filtered two ways, one of which you don't see. The one filter you do see is Sam, when he signed up for Jobtimize, said he only had high school education, so it's just by default serving up positions that have that as a requirement. If you wanted to remove that filter, it would very quickly serve up a different list. And if Sam wanted to, he could also filter for income level. And again, it would serve up a filtered list based on what Sam was looking for. But if we were to reset and let's say change it to college and apply filters, see what happens, you get positions that are much more related to trades, where Sam could consider an apprenticeship perhaps. The other filter that's going on in the background that you may not be aware of is Sam has also completed his interests. And because he's answered those questions, that very short additional questionnaire, what it's allowed Jobtimize to do is to filter the suggestions that it makes based on Sam's interests and show up the ones that are both a strong fit score and high in his interests first. The page is also very interactive in the sense that if Sam wanted to understand why he was a particularly good fit for bench carpenter and wanted to learn more about that, he would just simply click on the section header. And now what you see in this drop down is a very detailed view of Sam projected into this specific job. So in this section on the left hand side, what Jobtimize has done is list the traits that are critical to success in bench carpenter. And you see not only is there a trait, there's a definition for the trait, there are descriptions of people at either end of the trait, and it also shows you where the ideal range is. So that gray bar is the sweet spot for this specific job. So remember in the last tour we were talking about personality and how sometimes certain jobs require people who are on different levels of extroversion, for example. It's exactly the same here with these other traits. So, the bench carpenter job tends to be a good fit for people who are lower in extroversion. Not low, but lower than people who need to be in front of others all day long. Overlaid on top of that is where Sam is positioned in the continuum, and of course where his arrow goes in the ideal range, then that's a good thing. And I think if you scroll down, you might see some traits where Sam is not completely matched with the ideal for the job, and that may or may not pose an issue for Sam. And in both cases here, they're just slight departures, if you like, from the ideal. So they may be things that Sam just needs to bear in mind and remember. Because they're not going to be deal killers for him, but they are things that he's going to have to be sensitive to in his job. On the right hand side here, we've got a neat graphic that shows personality fit, which is that teal ring on the outside. So as we've seen, Sam is a very strong fit for the bench carpenter job from a personality standpoint, which is why the circle goes most of the way around. He's a really good fit from an interest standpoint, which is that purple ring. And then the blue ring is skills. Now you might be asking yourself, where does the system get skills from? There are two ways. One is when you set up your account and you tell the system what jobs you've had in the past, it is going to look up the skills that those jobs require, assume you have them, and add them to your skills list. So that's where some of these come from. The other is, frankly, as you're interacting with the platform, you may say to yourself, you know what, these skills aren't turned on, but I think I got them. So you could turn on critical thinking, and the system would accept that and add it to the list of skills that we think you have. If there's a skill here that you don't think you have, so you don't have that much experience with time management, for example, you could just as easily turn it off, and it's not going to hurt you, but it would certainly give you a closer view of what you might need to pick up skills-wise in order to be really prepared for this job. On this page, you've got the ability to add it to your favorites list or to dismiss it and hide it from view if it's something you're really not interested in. And if you wanted to print off this page, you could just hit save, and it'll print this off as a PDF that you could share with an employer. If you were interviewing somebody, for example, for a bench carpenter job, you could take this along with you and show the interviewer why you're an especially worthwhile candidate to take a closer look at. One of the most important things in Jobtimize is that we've actually connected with major job boards. So if you've got to the point here in the exercise where you've researched the bench carpenter job, you think you've got what it takes, you're really interested in learning more, and you're curious to know what the job prospects are, all you have to do is click on this green button, and what Jobtimize does is it pulls off all the active in this case bench carpenter jobs in your community, so you can see what the market's like. You can actually click on them and review the ads. So this is one that was posted on Indeed. You can research the employer, learn about the terms of the job and what have you, and if you decide that you want to apply, you can do so with a click of a button on the Indeed platform. So so there you go. That's the main part with the Career Explorer. Oh, there was one other thing. Hang on just a moment here. There's also the search feature. So let's say, for example, you've had a job in mind and it doesn't show up at the top of your list. Rather than scroll and scroll and scroll until you find the job that you like, let's say, for example, you've always been curious about being a pilot. Type in pilot in the search bar. And nothing's going to come up, but it might be because of the education requirements. So if you were to kill the education and say I've got university, or better yet, just say all, and apply the filter, you'll see that there are actually 4 different options for pilots, and when I click on the drop down, it'll show me whether this might be a good choice for me or not. And as you see, maybe so in this case. So lots of ways for you to take full advantage of the tools that are available for you inside Jobtimize.